Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the SH Figuarts Tony Stark figure review. Let's do it.
That's crispy.
And taking a look at the exterior of the box, this is what's on the bottom flap. It says SH Figuarts here in the upper left hand corner, and then that fine print reads SH Figuarts is a new standard figures series that uses the art style of Bandai action figures to successfully pursue character expression through humanoid action. And it says Tony Stark there. On the right side you got a picture of the figure. Almost looks like a movie still, but that is a picture of the action figure. SH Figuarts logo at the top, Tony Stark, some more fine print. On the top flap you have the same message. And here's the front of the package. I already took the figure and the clamshell out to kind of reduce the glare a little bit, but you can see Tony Stark in the left corner, Iron Man, Tony's powered stage, which is a little bonus with this figure, Bandai logo, Tamashii Nation's logo, and another picture of the figure with one of the armor parts on the left arm. Alright, let's look at Tony. Alright, I got my man Tony Stark out of the package. I think this figure is okay. I think it's pretty good. I'm not completely blown away right now. There are some things that I really like. There are some things that I'm a little iffy on. I've seen other people's figures. This figure has been out for a little while. I think the release date in Japan was maybe like 2 weeks ago. Quite a few of my friends had the figure before me. I was kind of taking my time on paying my bill to get it shipped because I had quite a few other things that I needed to pay for at the same time, and the bill was like almost $300. But anyway, he's here, and some of the other versions of this figure that I saw with some of my friends, I think look better than my particular version as far as the face goes. I think they did a pretty decent job on the face overall, but I think that my particular version is a little off. I'll get into that later. We're going to go over the accessories first. So as you saw on the box, this particular version of Tony Stark comes with his powered base, and you got to construct it. There is a clamshell beneath the main clamshell that has Tony and his accessories in it, and then that lower clamshell has these 4 parts and this little circular base. It's just plastic, very lightweight. Let's get these assembled real quick. So you got 2 peg holes there, and that'll tab in very easily there. And you'll do the same thing with the 2 smaller parts. This is fairly simple. You want to make sure everything is flush, and you'll have some other pegs here on the top, and I guess this is where that other circular part will attach. Peg holes, 3 pegs, and just like that, it's fully assembled. So aside from the 2 fisted hands, you get a set of open palms, and these look good. The skin tone matches up well with the forearms and the face and the neck, so that all looks very good, and they pop on and off with no problem. And then you also get these semi-open hands, and these can be used for holding different things. If you want to have him in his armory doing something, or working with something, then you can have him holding it, so that looks pretty good. I think that these look a little big though. I don't know, tell me if they look big to you. These hands look just a little bit big, but again, the skin tone and everything matches. You got a little bit of shading and whatnot for the knuckles, so that looks good. Now this is where things get interesting. You also get a set of open hands that have just the hands for the Mark 42 armor. So all the armor parts that come with this figure are from the Mark 42 armor, and this I think looks very good. I think the proportions look just about spot on. And I like the fact, I saw my man Darius mention this, but I like the fact that these don't come off like they did in the Mark 42 and Mark 43 armors. I think it was both of those armors, and that was just a pain in the ass that these would come off. So these don't come off here. These little flaps don't come off, and I think the hands look very good, and I think the proportions are right. And aside from the open hands, you also get a set of fisted hands and forearms that can go on. Still the Mark 42 armor. So at the lower forearm here, this detaches, and this is easy to take off and put back on, so that's cool. And then you can attach the armored forearm and fist onto the lower forearm there. So I'll do that. I'll swap both of these out and put on both fisted arms. Just before I swap on both arms, I just wanted to show that, you know, this figure has a lot of playability, a lot of interchangeable parts, and you can definitely mix and match and do some different things. So I just want to show that you can, you know, just have the one hand on and one arm on, and we'll get down to the lower legs and how they'll swap out as well. But you know, it's definitely a lot of options. So there you go with both forearms and fists, and that looks good. And I like the way that it's fitted to the body, and I like how you can see some of the flesh still in the armor there. And it does look like there is a man suiting up in an armor here, an almost skin tight armor, and that is something that we have griped about in the past with some of the Marvel Legends Iron Man figures, and I think this is looking very, very good. So this aspect of the figure I love. I really, really like these interchangeable parts. This is really the draw of this figure in my opinion. So let's see what's up with the lower legs and swap the armor parts on the lower legs as well. Just so you can see, this is where the lower leg swaps off, right above the shin, right where the knee would be, I suppose, right at the bend. Actually, you can still see that joint is working, and we'll swap this out and put on the armored lower leg, and that looks very good. And you definitely want to make sure that both of these are tabbed in completely, so that way the articulation is still fully functional, and to make sure that both of his legs are the same length. And I don't think I got this right, or maybe it's just his upper body that I don't have right. But yeah, you just definitely want to make sure that his legs are the same length, so he's standing evenly when you're trying to stand him up right. But yeah, I think this looks very, very good. The neck is actually on a joint that can move up and down, but the head also moves independently of the neck, so that can get a slight pivot, and it can move up and down and left and right. So the head does get a very nice range of motion. You can get him to look up pretty far, and you can get him to look down pretty far as well. I do like the additional butterfly joints that they put on the shoulders here, although it is not as functional as I would like it to be. It does not move as much as you would like it to. Maybe it's just still a little stiff. Maybe I need to work these joints a little bit, but there is a butterfly joint there as well as a ball joint that will allow the shoulder to go up just about that far. You can do a full 360. Unfortunately, you do not get a bicep swivel. I'm not sure why they did that, but it can actually rotate a little bit here on this joint as well. So you do get a decent range of motion on the shoulders. The elbow is not really double jointed. I guess you'll probably get just a little bit more range of motion with the regular arm on there. I should swap that out and see what's what. I'll do that in a second, but it does rotate a little bit too here, right below the where the elbow would be, and you do get a swivel and a hinge on the wrist, on the regular wrist or the armored wrist. Nice range of motion in the upper torso. It can move up and down, and then you actually can move this left and right as well. This material here at the pelvis where his pants are is a very soft material, so it doesn't hinder the articulation for the legs. You can get those up pretty far, and you can get it to rotate a bit. No real cut here at the upper thigh, but again, you still do get some rotation. You do get a double jointed knee, so that works, and that's fully functional, although you do have the swapping ability here, and you do get a hinge. It doesn't hinge back as much because of the back of the armor here, but it does get a really nice ankle pivot though, which is cool, and it seems to be going in more than out, so that's what it is. Yeah, I guess because of the armor part right here, it doesn't go out as much, but it does go in. Same thing on both sides as far as the arms and legs. Let me swap out this other arm and see what's up, and see if you get more range with the so I misspoke before. You actually don't really get a hinge when you have the armored forearm on. You just get a swivel. The hinge is only there on the regular arm, so you get that hinge and a swivel, and you definitely get a greater bend with the regular arm. So overall though, you do get a really nice range of motion. This is a very articulated figure, and you know, without the armor parts, if you just want a regular Tony Stark, then you can get him to kind of do some crazy things. You could get him to do some martial arts and some pretty dynamic poses. So I really do like that about the figure. So just taking a closer look at the figure and some of the details here, I do like that this is sort of like a mesh, and it is actually raised, and there is a different texture from this part of the shirt with this part. And I think that the paint job and everything looks very, very good, especially on the armored parts. Little minor gripe with the way this ball joint looks here. You got to make sure this is totally tabbed in too, but you know that looks kind of ugly, but it's not. It's not the worst. They could have probably put a little more details here in the pants as far as the loops and everything goes. But again, I do really like the armor parts. I don't know about this arc reactor here on the shirt. I wish that could have been a little more pronounced and just really look like it's glowing and not just like an emblem on the shirt. You know what? I can't really remember if it was glowing through his shirt or what, honestly. Help me out in the comments with that. But my major gripe with my particular version of the figure is the face. I think the face looks good. I don't think it looks great like I've seen it look on some other versions. I think my eyes are just a little bit off, and I don't like that the mustache and the goatee and the hair is light. I don't know what's up with Figuarts and why they keep doing that and putting these highlights in all of the people's hair to make it like these blonde highlights. Like, come on, this dude has dark brown or black hair for the most part. I'm pretty sure his mustache and beard are supposed to be like jet black for the most part. So I feel like if that was more pronounced and that color was correct, then the face may look a little better. Still, I do think this is one of the better faces that they've done with this new technology that they're implementing as far as these 3D scans or whatever it is. And there's like a little smudge here on his forehead. I don't know. I just think the paint on his face could have came out just a little bit better. And that's really my major gripe with this particular figure. But I like the figure. I do like the figure. And just a quick size comparison, you have the Iron Man Mark 43 on the far left, you have the Hulkbuster Mark 44 in the middle, and you have the Mark 45 on the far right. So you can see obviously the Hulkbuster is towering over the Tony Stark figure. You can absolutely imagine that that figure can fit inside of that armor. I think those proportions match up well, and I think the proportions in comparison to the regular size armors match up pretty damn well. Also, those armors are a couple of inches taller than Tony, and they've got a little more girth. And I actually took one of the forearms that comes with the Tony Stark figure and matched it up to that of the regular sized armors, and they're about the same size as well. So I think they did a pretty good job as far as the proportions goes between Tony Stark and previously released armors. And even Captain America stands a bit taller than Tony Stark. So in the past, Figuarts has been a little crazy with the proportions, especially as far as Thor is concerned. I'm not even going to break out Thor. I hate that figure, but he was a little too small. I think they did okay with Hulk, which I guess I'll show in a moment, but I do think that they got the size here right. So the figure's growing on me. Just in this review, I do like the figure. Like I said, my only minor gripe is the just some details for the face. The figure does have a lot of playability, a lot of fun factor with all the interchangeable parts. They are going to be giving you quite a few things for Tony Stark and for Iron Man from SH Figuarts in the coming year. They're going to be releasing the Hall of Armor parts where you can start kind of building your Hall of Armor. I actually never went and bought the Mark 42 or the Iron Patriot armor, so I think I want to backtrack and maybe get those. I know the Mark 42 is still available in some places. Iron Patriot might be sold out, so that may be a little harder to get now. But I do believe they're going to re-release this figure, but it'll be without the base, so that is kind of a crucial portion to you trying to build your whole armor with the different parts that they'll be releasing through Figuarts. So if you missed out on this guy, you know, your window is closing to get it at a decent price. So I think I paid the regular retail price for getting this straight from Japan, which was about $50 maybe, but I believe it's going for anywhere from $70 to $100 domestically or on the secondary market. So definitely one I would recommend. I do think the figure came out pretty nice, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.
That's crispy.